has to do the right thing and take the country forward. And therefore, and I want to speak to you as people who collectively we've been given the privilege by the people of Kenya to serve them, to work for them. We must also make sure that the privilege we have, the opportunity we have, translates into opportunity for the millions of Kenyans too, to have access to a job, access to a business opportunity, access to do their farming, and drive our country into the right direction. Here is our opportunity to unbundle all the commitments in our agenda as determined in the high-level retreat in Nanyuki early this year, and to prepare to assign them for implementation to every department, all the way to every public servant. As we consider the results of the evaluation and feedback, we also have to deliberate with greater intention about the design of the forthcoming performance contracts, their implementation and evaluation. Above and beyond the broader constitutional obligations and the strategic objectives in terms of our plan, I am very keen to observe how the next performance management cycle enhances the realization of the national values and principles of governance throughout government, at all levels of governance, and in all parts of the country. In particular, how much the public service affords equal opportunities for men and women, persons from all communities, and persons with disability will be of foremost interest. Equally, critical will be the mainstreaming of a comprehensive agenda for Kenyan youth, including training, apprenticeship, industrial attachment, and internship, access to government procurement opportunities, and entrenchment of the digital and creative economy. Further, it is of paramount importance that the performance management mechanism meaningfully reflects our resolve to enhance efficiency and reach of government services through digitization, automation, and deployment of various information and communication technologies. Kenya is a regional, continental, and global champion of a just transition to clean, green industrialization. Our credibility in this cause is founded on demonstrable commitment to green up our national power grid, restore degraded landscapes and ecosystems, conserve forests, water towers, wetlands, and other carbon sinks, and promote heavy investment in wind, solar power, and in addition to hydro and geothermal power. We are also promoters of e-mobility and sustainability across every sector. This magnitude of our commitment to the green agenda is further demonstrated by the fact that Kenya will host the Africa Climate Action Summit in Nairobi between 4th and 6th of September this year. I therefore expect our performance management framework to incorporate commitments that are consistent with our obligation under Article 42 and 69 and commensurate with our credentials as a global leader in green industrialization. Because of the urgency in delivering our commitments and providing services to the people, the need to ensure that every shilling of our increasingly scarce resources delivers its fullest value, and the requirements of transparency and accountability. The government is determined to reinvigorate performance management as a means of motivating, facilitating, and coordinating the public service in our delivery of the mandate that has been given to us by the people of Kenya. At this juncture, I must emphasize the need to ensure completion of viable, budgeted for, and already commenced projects and programs before we embark on new ones. I ask cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, chief executive officers of state corporations, and principals of tertiary institutions to use performance contracts to ensure that projects and programs are completed on time and within available resources. As I have said before, we made a commitment that we are going to steer the country away from the cliff where we were heading in terms of our economy. First initial step was to reduce the amount of borrowing that we were heading in the wrong direction. We did decide as a government that though we had agreed with our development partners, including our multilateral lenders, on a fiscal deficit of 6.2% of GDP, we deliberately decided that we're going to come down to 5.7% of GDP as our commitment to a new trajectory of ensuring that Kenya lives within its means. And as a government, we live within our means. In the same spirit, I have had a candid conversation with the ministry responsible for infrastructure, and the 910 billion worth of projects that were already in some form committed, we've scaled it down. And I had a long meeting with all the agencies under the Ministry of Transport and Roads to scale it down. I think we have shaved another 250 billion out of that so that we can stagger the project. The projects deliver on the ones that are of immediate, already started and rolling, and then do the others later, because we have to live within our means. I want to assure you and assure the country that we are well on course in running a stable economy that is not dependent on unnecessary, excessive borrowing. I know we had an issue of delayed salaries, which is somebody said it is the first time that we are having delayed salaries. Yes, it is the first time we are having delayed salaries. But it's also the first time we are having such monumental debts. I want to assure the country that that is managed. We have turned the corner. All I assure the country is this, the commitment I made that we are not going to borrow money to spend on recurrent expenditure, including salaries. That is the position of the government of Kenya. We will not do that. We will look for our taxes, and I want to commend the Kenya Revenue Authority for what they are doing. They are today at 95% of their commitment. Thank you, Madam Acting Commissioner. They are doing a wonderful job in a very difficult terrain where we have experience of people who are not used to paying taxes. But we have said that this is no longer going to be the animal farm. All of us are going to pay. So again, let me say that that is now behind us. We are moving in the right direction, but to assure the country that we will not continue the old tradition of borrowing money to pay recurrent expenditure, to pay salaries. We are going to pay salaries from our own resources. We are going to carry out our recurrent expenditure using our own resources, and we have moved our fiscal deficit to 5.7%. Our target is to take it to 5% next year and 4.4% the following year, so that we can work within the parameters of the resources that we can raise as we grow our own tax revenue. I have also instructed the Treasury to look at all the taxes, to have a tax review of all the taxes. There are some taxes we certainly are going to reduce in the coming budget, because some of the taxes are punitive and they actually encourage more dodging than paying and compliance, so that we can make it much more easy for citizens, corporates, and all the people that work with us to comply with taxes. Institutionalizing performance management is both desirable and rational. This is the rationale behind the decision to assign the government's performance contracting mechanism to the Public Service Performance Management Unit in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and I am confident that we shall all begin to experience considerable improvement in public service delivery. As we hold the rest of public service to account on this matter, I will definitely hold the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi also on a performance contract to make sure that this actually happens. I also know that the institutionalization of performance management in government is going to be further anchored in a clear policy framework through the Public Service Performance Management Bill, once it undergoes the necessary developments in readiness for legislation in our parliament. In keeping with our digital agenda, I am delighted to note that the government of Kenya has made progress in developing the government online performance contracting information system. This system will promote efficiency, promptness, and transparency, thereby delivering the possibilities, benefits, and advantages of digital technology to the management of public service delivery. A result-oriented, effective coordination and commitment to go beyond the extra mile must be the new features of our approach to service delivery. Let us each do our part in strengthening a performance culture through the public service. To do this, let us eradicate all practices of sabotaging